Going into our final segment of the day, and I'm really excited for this one. So, we just talked about Doc Rivers being fired and what is a good coach, who should be considered a good coach, who should be considered a great coach, how we do this. So, a term that I use a lot to differentiate who is great, who's really good, who's excellent, who's bad, because I think you could argue those all day. I like the term different. Guys who are different, it stands out. We talk about players like all-time pantheons, and we go, LeBron James is different. Dwayne Wade is different. You don't even need to start there. Dirk was different. Dirk might not be on your top 5, top 10 all-time list, but if you were playing against Dirk Nowitzki, you were like, oh yeah, he's different. He's special. If you were playing, even take lesser players, Brandon Jennings, when he first came into the league, it was different. Derrick Rose, when he first came in the league, it was different. There is guys who just have an innate ability to be different. So I want to start doing this, and we're probably going to make this a Tuesday thing, maybe a Tuesday and Thursday thing, it's our top different guys at a certain profession or position in sports. So I want to start with our different guys in coaching. And this, I think it's a very big deal to associate within NBA coaching. And I think this is a big deal because obviously with the Doc Rivers firing, there's a lot that you could take from it. We thought Doc was a great coach last year with the Clippers because he had a no superstar Clippers team take the Warriors to 6. We thought that was a great job. And then just a year later, we think he has underperformed with Kawhi and Paul George. And he obviously underperformed with Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan. So what makes a great coach? Okay. And for this, what makes a coach, or who are the coaches that are different? And when it comes to the NBA, I think we just have to make it's a standalone category. Different head coaches. There's one. There is only one, with a possible. Greg Popovich is the only different NBA head coach. I could argue in all of America, the only different head basketball coaches and the most notable and the most successful is Greg Popovich on the NBA level and Mike Krzyzewski at the college level. They're different. There's a bunch of great all-time coaches. Jim Boeheim is a great all-time coach. Jim Calhoun is a great all-time coach. The recently passed Jerry Sloan from the Jazz was a great all-time coach. Phil Jackson is a great all-time coach. Pop is different. Pop got 50-win seasons for 20 consecutive years. 19 consecutive years. Pop continues, whether he has David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, all these different guys in the prime, a young Kawhi Leonard, that he continues to win. Whether he is the obvious favorite or whether he's the underdog. He has titles with Tim Duncan and David Robinson being dominant, Tim Duncan and Tony Parker being dominant, and an old Tim Duncan and so-so Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and young Kawhi Leonard against 3 Hall of Famer LeBron James-led Miami Heat. Greg Popovich is different. Are possible, and this is only if he pulls this off, our other possible different coach and would stake his claim as being the second best head coach in the NBA, bar none. If Eric Spoelstra and the Miami Heat win this NBA Finals, Eric Spoelstra joins a different conversation. Eric Spoelstra came from being a video guy who the Heat, when he was first hired, most people put as, oh, this is a guy who's not going to be super strong-willed. He's going to let Dwayne Wade and LeBron and Chris Bosh do their own thing, and he's just kind of there for the ride. Coaching what might have been the most difficult team in NBA history to get essentially the start of this Big Three era and those dynamic personalities won 2 titles with them, showed that he could coach with the big guys, showed that he was great in his own right. Couple down years right after LeBron left, but got a couple good draft classes, had to work with an older Dwayne Wade. A few years later, back in the finals, well respected, has a chance to get his third ring in 9 years, third ring in 10 years, I'm sorry. Eric Spoelstra, if he wins his NBA Finals, he joins a different category. And that is it for the amount of different NBA head coaches. We all love Brad Stevens. We all think Nick Nurse is a great coach. We think that there's a couple other guys you could throw in that list. But the rest of these guys are a product of who they got on the court. Frank Vogel went from fired to he's in the NBA Finals with LeBron James. Isn't it funny? The Clippers just fired Doc Rivers, and the guy that they want to hire is Ty Lue. Ty Lue was great when he had LeBron James. Look at the 4 or 5 Cleveland coaches in between that time when the 3 or 4, including Byron Scott, who can coach. Look at what they did in a post-Cleveland LeBron. There's a difference when a guy is different and a guy is just a great coach or a guy is just a good coach. There's a bunch of guys, if you're an NBA head coach, you're a good coach. You have one of 30 jobs in the world, and you've got to essentially prove it to get there. Whether it is your coaching you got to prove you're good at, or you got to prove your basketball IQ. Obviously, you got guys like Steve Nash and foreign players that step right in, but there's no one that doubts Steve Nash knows basketball. But when you're talking about different, that's it. It's Pop by himself.